In order to create great results, you have to empower your team. So I asked sales professionals and our very own flock stars, how do they create a sense of community while working remotely? And this is what they had to say.
How I build a sense of community while working remote is just to really focus on having that effective communication. So I always like to prioritize the conversations I have with my coworkers, especially when it's on Slack. And for me, I like to always take that extra step in initiative. So what I'll do is set up a coffee meeting, and prior to that coffee meeting, I'll go on their LinkedIn and look up a couple of interesting facts. So I'm able to ask those open-ended questions and build that rapport with them. And within the meeting, I would ask them to describe our product in their own words and to also explain how their department brings success and contributes to the team. And I would also like to speak about with them how our future collaboration can enhance the company's success. So just always being able to put a face to the name, I feel like that's really important. And to operate from a headspace of thinking that if we are working together and moving as a team, then success it's going to come on its own, which is a quote by Henry Ford. And I would also like to highlight, for you guys to participate always in social activities to get to know your coworkers better. But that is how I build a sense of community.
Hi. So how do I build a strong sense of community while working remotely? I think communication is one of the foundations of a remote team. So one of the first things that I like to do is just make sure to set some time for coffee chats with my teammates with no agenda, where we can build a strong sense of camaraderie and trust. I also think it's pretty important to also have a strong sense of documentation where anybody on my team or my organization can see what I'm currently working on and what I've been working on the past. And finally, I think it's very important to build some channels where you can create asynchronous communication to either store calls that you've had with some clients, or maybe document some sort of procedure that you're working on for other people in your organization to reference in some point in the future. And yeah, I think those are my key things that I do to build a strong sense of community while working remotely.
Hi, everyone. Bo here. I am an SDR over at Revenue IO. I am so excited to be here at this event. And I'm going to answer a few questions that Lauren gave me. And so how do you build a sense of community while working remotely? So a big thing for me, since it's my first remote job, is just kind of feeling like I have coworkers. So basically, I love just to Slack all of my fellow SDRs and just kind of get to know them, and even just, get a half hour with them, even if it's just once a week, just to, shoot the shit, if you will, just to feel like I have a community of people. And secondly, as a sales professional, how do you enable peer-to-peer coaching? And so what's cool is at Revenue.io, we are actually a sales enablement platform. So we actually have conversation intelligence. And so what I love to do at the end of the day is listen to all of the SDR's calls and actually annotate them. And so, I'm coaching through that. And it's also nice to get together and, go through like mock cold calls. And so that's nice as well. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I really appreciate this. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited for the event. Have a good one. Bye.
So the question here is, how do we build a sense of community while working remotely? I think that's a great question, and I think that it has a lot to do with getting to know each other as people, as well as working towards a shared goal. So basically, here at FlockJ, something that we do every week is ask each other a thought-provoking question, such as, what is your favorite fictional character? And these types of questions encourage people to share their personalities with each other. And I think that it's a great way to start to get to know each other. And, another example is when someone asks how your weekend was, going beyond just saying it was good and sharing something nice that you did. And when it comes to shared goals, I think that just defining what the aim of a project or a task is, and from the start, and then working towards it together, it can really bring a sense of community and joy when that task or project is complete.
So, on the topic of making teams more self-sufficient, I think it's extremely important in this digital era that we live in. I think the three things that can really help foster that are: one, communication. I think it's really important that managers set regular meetings and set a cadence for regular meetings at the beginning of the week or middle of the week for check-ins versus just spontaneous check-ins. And this really helps kind of guide the rest of the week and help kind of plan and check in on goals. And I think this can also be in the form of like a asynchronous check-in or a stand-up. So next would be training. I think from the get-go, day one of hire, having a strong foundational training is incredibly important. It really sets the stage for the importance of continuous learning. And I think it can really help fill any skill gaps, which allow team members to eventually become more self-sufficient. And what's special is I think this can also be done internally by existing team members doing the training, or you can even have an external source for training. And the last piece I think is trust. I think it's a very simple concept in terms of ensuring that managers are not micromanaging the rest of their team. There's a strong level of trust to get work done, to meet deadlines, and a strong level of accountability both ways. And I think a little bit of trust can go a long way. And I think over time, it's a kind of like a flywheel effect where managers trust more, and that allows the team to become even more self-sufficient over time. So yeah, I think it really comes down to communication, training, and trust.